just stuck here in a dream. Back at the bottom of the ocean. I'm at the bottom of the sea. I'll stay down, down. I'm just stuck here in a dream.
This is a public service announcement from C.T. Fletcher. I will not contribute to the pussification of a nation. Get your punk ass out there and work for it, motherfucker.
Let's roll.
Morning, Sergeant Major.
How do you know what kind of goddamn day it is?
Beautiful morning, Sergeant Major.
Are you a fucking weatherman now?
You're listening to Sergeant's Time on WTF Nation Radio.
Little veteran center right there. See, you got that little thing right there on the side. Spanky.
That's me, y'all.
Spanky's back. Yeah.
It's been forever.
It's been years. It seems like it's been years. We just been out and goofing off.
Oh yes. Yes.
Yeah, this was we just been hanging out doing shit. How you been, Spanky? Long time no see.
I'm just in here, and it is really hitting me what all I have done since the last time I've been on Sergeant's Time.
I know we've done a lot. We've like done a lot of shit. I mean, literally, we just been kind of like busy, and you were busy, and all that.
I know. I went like all around the country and back again. Have been working full time. I'm not used to that anymore. Oh my goodness.
Working. What? So if you don't mind me asking, so you don't mind talking about where you work, or is that cool?
Oh, I can tell you what I do.
Okay, there you go. How about that? That'll work. That's copacetic. Let's do that.
Teaching the future generation.
Oh, you're teaching the children's. The children's. Oh, well, welcome back. Yeah.
I know. So yeah, I've spent a lot of time doing that, and getting into the swing of things, and well, even over this summer, like I don't even think, like I went to a million national parks up in California, Oregon, Idaho, and South Dakota.
Saw that.
I been everywhere.
That's why we use for your graphic right there. Using your desert graphics. We use your desert graphics for your little
Joshua tree.
Yeah, that was awesome. That was awesome. Awesome. It's good to have you back. I mean, what do you? So other than that,
I would recommend if you go to Joshua Tree, don't do it like in July. It is hot. I like the heat. I love the hot weather. But it was so hot. Oh, you want me to hike how far? Okay, I'm making it half a mile.
Yeah, exactly. What am I drinking, Daniel? Oh man, I'm drinking water, dude. I'm feeling kind of like thanks for reminding me. So toast up some water here. It's been dry lately. It's supposed to be like rainy and snow and cold and all that stuff, and it really hasn't been like that. It's been kind of weird. So.
Oh, it's cold. It was super cold yesterday. It's like it's at that time of year here. Cause, I live in Texas, where you got to turn the heat on in the morning and the AC on in the afternoon, and you don't know what to wear. And it's like you put on a hoodie and shit in the morning, and you take it off. It's in your car. You repeat that process till every hoodie I own is in my car and not in the closet. It's just a mess. And that's why I'm like, I've been feeling a little under the weather the last couple of days because of the weather change, I'm sure, because it happens every year. I don't adjust well to winter. Oh, man. Oh, yeah. What's everyone drinking? I'm also drinking water. I'm too sick. I'm on too many meds right now to have a frosty festive beverage. I'm about to say, so you have
some festive adult beverages and stuff like that. How's the children's? How's your mini adult? How's your mini?
Let me tell you about my mini adult. Like I said, you came back on Sergeant's Time, about 2 weeks ago?
Just a week ago.
Yeah. Okay, so just a week ago. So I couldn't join you because it was senior night, and at the football game they recognize all the seniors on the football team and in the band. So I got to go and take pretty pictures and, bring my baby flowers and let her get recognized by her school and stuff for, her fourth year at the high school band. So that's why I was not here with you last week. I was out in the cold, with the sports thing and, celebrating my baby's being in band for 4 years. So yeah, she's a senior and time is ticking down. She's trying to pick a college. She's got pretty much her choice. So
Man. Oh.
That's what's going on with the girl. The girl's doing good.
Yeah, man. Shit,
Yes,
that's nuts.
I know. It's just
They're getting old, man. They're getting. I got some. My oldest is going through some life events as well, and Princess Ice is getting older too. You saw pictures of her and how
yes.
she's just like, oh, yeah, man. Hey, I don't want to say we're getting old. It's just we're kind of like the same age.
Oh, we're staying the same.
Yeah, we're the same.
Our kids
Yeah,
are getting older.
the kids are the kids are getting. So have you So what do you think of the new digs? What do you think of the new intro and the new little hangout that I made? I'm on camera now.
Yes, look at you. I am not fit to be on camera. Like I get home from work and strip down to jammies and no, I am not getting dressed for y'all. Maybe one day, like around the holidays, it'll be Merry Christmas. But no, I love the new intro, but we're missing some things. We really are. You got all the hood things, all the tanker guys, all those people that like to fall out of airplanes for no reason whatsoever. You got all that whole shit. You know what we need? We need like some of Spanky's MOSs. I need to see some chemical in there, and I need to see some S1 behind the desk. Kicking you out of my office because I'm closed. It's lunchtime.
So you want?
Sorry, it's closed for training.
I want to say yeah. So you want to do all those cuts like that with all the HUA stuff, all the airborne Rangers, SF, PSYOP stuff. Yeah, the strikers doing all their stuff in training, and then all of a sudden you see like a sign that stops abruptly. It says closed for training or open from 0900 to 0915. Only on Monday, and we're all training, and then what's the next one you said? Camo. So you gonna do some camo stuff?
Need some camo. Need some I don't know. I always did decon, so maybe some showers that'll work.
I remember you were telling me that you used to provide to the units. You guys were just like, hey, you guys want to borrow a shower or something like that?
Yes. Well, because we always had to have our decon tent set up. So yeah, you can come through. There's shower heads in there. Like the way we set it up is if there was a chemical attack, we have two lines. One is for people that can still walk by themselves and go through it. So yeah, just go on through, take a shower. I know I did. The other one would be if you were on a stretcher or something, and we had to like shower you down. But yeah, so like I said, I never went without a shower when I was chemical. So
okay, well let me make some notes here. Let me get my notes here. Let me get my red pen here and write Spanky wants intro. I'm gonna do a Spanky intro. How about that?
yes.
Oh, that'll be funny. That'll be one. Tyler says those planes are made by the cheapest bidder, just like everything else in the military. I think they're the only things that could fly with deficiencies, so they're not really perfectly good. When someone said that they're a perfectly good aircraft, I would say a helicopter is more perfectly good because anything with them, that thing's just gonna come down. A million moving parts flying in the opposite direction, trying to keep away from each other. It's like a controlled parts bin flying in the air.
I mean, as long as it doesn't follow the sky, it's perfectly good.
Well, if you're jumping out of it or falling out of it, as you would say, then you don't have to worry about it.
I mean, watch them. You never see anybody jump. They don't jump out of the plane. They all kind of just fall out.
Well, I mean, we got a crap of freaking, we got a bunch of crap on it. So yeah, you're gonna naturally. It looks like it's falling. It's just what was it? Buzz Lightyear said, "Falling with style."
Falling with style.
Exactly.
But yeah, they literally like you see them go to the door and nobody like jumps jump. Oh, that's a good idea too, Allison. Some multiple Monday pictures for the intro.
Exactly. Seeing everybody just,
I want to see like some details. Like
I want to see some
the grass with scissors.
I want to see some 5988 echoes being filled out, and then the freaking mechanic coming out saying that's operator level. Dun, 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 exactly that cause. A well lubricated and extremely well balanced spinning part spin. Okay, so I got to write that shit down. I got to write. You know what? People aren't going to get mad because exactly that, Gary. Professionally exiting the aircraft. People get freaking mad when you talk about stuff like that. We're like, oh, I'm going to make a parody about S1 crap. And
yeah,
people get
we don't get mad.
There's been some sensitivity on the sensitivities with sensitivities on things lately. It's just like, holy crap.
I don't know. Maybe that's just it. Let's see, like, which MOS can we like trigger the most?
Well, we used to be. Well, we used to. You know, what was it? Just a few months ago. Well, it was last year. We were triggering the blue cords, and then they stopped, and then they were they were kind of like haha. They understood the humor, I guess, and the sarcasm.
Right. I mean, we are 25 minutes into the show, and you are the first one to bring up blue cords. I mean, I'm impressed. I'm impressed. There's nobody in the comments. Like, rah, rah, rah.
Yeah, there's nobody going. I'm 11 bro. Blue cord imagery.
There must not be any listening tonight. They must not have figured out how to turn the radio on.
They probably thought we just faded out. Is what it was. Well, most of it. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's having pride in your field and your MOS. There's nothing wrong with that. There's some people that are just happy being pack clerks. There's just people that are happy being chemo. There's people happy being, infantry. There's happy being Cav Scouts. There's happy tankers, infantry and artillery.
Is there a happy cook?
Lately though, yeah, or warrior. The cooks have been getting a hard time. They've been. I mean, okay, all right. There's a post that was happening on the main page, and it was like, "What y'all doing burning those breakfast burritos, man?"
Oh yes,
did you see that? That was like, what? Anybody, if you think that breakfast burritos looking like that is going to pass muster for you to give the troops, and then we're kind of like joking around with a person, and we're like, hey, you know what? What is that? Just like Abuela we used to make. I said, Abuela does not make freaking breakfast burritos like that.
I would not even have minded it if they weren't wrapped in plastic.
Right? Yeah, because it'd have been like if they were thrown away.
I could handle a little burnt on my tortilla.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
No, you wrapped it in plastic. I could like smell the plastic melting to the burnt tortilla, and
and all the steam. When you get all the steam in there, and the condensation's getting it all wet and soggy, and you're just like, blah, blah. But I know what they were getting a lot of crap because of the warrior cafes. And the warrior, I'm gonna tell you what, hung out with Sergeant Major Towns. Oh shit. What happened? I just dropped my phone. I hung out with Sergeant Major Towns on Fort Bragg and went to the Tribe Cafe. I'm going to tell you what, that's some good chow.
All right, I have seen Sergeant Major Towns' pictures. It's like, where did those cooks get trained?
Well, see, that's what I said. Well, when me and him had lunch, because I went to his change of responsibility, and we were having some chow, and he was explaining to me how those were like what he's doing with the cooks is that he's letting them. The cooks are just going ahead and freaking having their own culinary freedom of expression, I guess you'd say. Their culinary latitude, I guess. And dang, dude, it was some good chow. You just like, man, this is a DFAC? Yeah, I didn't think it was a. So to me, messing with the cooks a little bit when you say, oh, stupid cooks and blah blah.
I didn't say stupid cooks.
No. I mean, not you. It's just people generally. Yeah, people give cooks a bad time for it. But I'll be honest with you, the Tribe Cafe, Fort Bragg. If you want to go to Fort Bragg, you'll love it. See, I said if you want to go to Fort Bragg, I didn't say back at Bragg.
Now you just said it.
No, I'm just giving that as an example.
You just said it, saying that you didn't say it. You said it.
I was using that as a point of an example. But anyways, okay, fine. At least I didn't say cab or some shit.
Can't have a show without.
I can't have a
blue cords and back at Bragg.
Yeah, back. Exactly. So, man, you've been checking out all the Army stuff, all the Army news. Have you been reading?
I have been kind of keeping up with it, especially on the Twitters, because that's where I usually keep most of my Army news from. The military Twitter people, they make sure they keep everything posted, and Haley. So yeah, I definitely been kind of try to keep up. Not with all of it over the last couple months, but I've been trying.
Yeah, it's been nuts. One of the things that we're seeing now is there's a lot of I don't know, man. It's some of it's like, I think it's because we're not deployed anywhere, or we're not doing anything anymore. There's just some drama that's happening for like the littlest crap, like the littlest crap. Well, real quick, let's talk about this freaking. Did you hear about the Marines at NTC?
Oh, did I ever?
They were supposedly, they were dominated in a mock battle with the with the British Marines, with the UK Royal Marines. And we're gonna got some aircrafts. Oh snap! I got some aircrafts flying around here. Ooh, they're
Ooh,
like,
I hear them.
Yeah, you hear them like little black helicopters
I actually
flying
took
over.
my earbuds out to see if it was like
Yeah.
at my house.
Wow.
Because I heard them. I can hear them.
Right, yeah. I was like, whoa, I'm flying low and slow in the house. I'm talking about. Won't go 160th, baby.
They know where you are.
Yeah, they're wondering. It's like, hey, you're going to go hang out. So U.S. Marines insisted they were not embarrassingly defeated. They weren't beaten. Now look, anytime you go to NTC or JRTC or JMRC, any type of those combat training centers, you're OPFOR wins all the time.
That's kind of the point.
Yeah, exactly. I've never seen. I mean, I've heard stories, and there may have been a couple skirmishes where like the OPFOR would have to reset or something like that. But I've never seen, it was never, destroyed the unit and all that. In the games that we play, simulated games like that, you're supposed to freaking lose, or you're supposed to get your ass handed to you. You're not supposed to have, it's not supposed to be a win. That way units can practice and get better with their tactics, techniques, and procedures. And, it should be lessons learned, not bragging about.
Right, like it's like, what is the point of like packing up all your stuff, going to like JRTC, NTC, any of those TCs, and just being up against something that, or playing the game, war games or whatever, and just being excellent at everything. Like, why would you even need to go to a training center if you're already excellent? So I'm like, that's why. I mean, it is kind of set up for units to run into like the worst case scenarios and everything, and you fail at them, and you don't fail at the same thing twice.
Right,
learn how to fix it.
Right. Yeah, there's some punditry out there. There's some people on. Okay, look, because we have several audiences that listen to us or will go on different types of platforms. It's all like what we like to say. It's it's shooter's preference, whatever you like to have. Some individuals like to go on Facebook and only use Facebook for social media engagement. Some people YouTube, some people Instagram, or they'll go on our Twitch channel. And all that, but Twitter, that's where troops. If you want to see what people are talking about and your leadership are talking about and all that, you gotta remember it's like Twitter. Point to point. You go to Twitter. That is like open mic. Sometimes it's open mic disaster.
Yes, you're right.
It is.
I mean, there's a lot of good information, a lot of good everything out there, but yeah, there's a lot of you really should have thought about that before you hit send.
Before he hit send, yeah. So a lot of hot button topics get hit on Twitter just by something like that, and it just blows my mind when people don't realize that is literally the spot to lose. That's the spot where you're supposed to know exactly that. You're supposed to find out who your Carl is in your unit. You're to figure out the unit's combat Carl. Yeah, exactly, man. You're supposed to figure that out because I'm gonna tell you what, it's supposed to be that. Well, anyways, so everyone's like freaking out, saying they have their asses handed to them, and they were beat. I don't think I've ever been in an NTC CTC situation where we've won. Where we've won nothing. We'll have like interesting AARs and some hot washes and but that'll be like what should have happened. It's just a big AAR that happens, and then that's it. You're supposed to then recock or whatever, defending what the scenario is, and then you go. You got your
right.
Who doesn't deploy.
You were there to train.
Yeah, exactly. So there are people like really going off on the military just because of NTC and thinking that was the end all be all, and I said this myself. I was like, hey, if you're a member of the media, you need to roll out with a unit going to NTC or JRTC. Kind of like spin. We've had former we've had guests that come on here before, and they talk about their experiences getting ready to go to JRTC or NTC. And they look forward to it, and they have we had We had 25th ID coming on here talking about that.
Yes, we've had a few sergeant majors come on and during their, training rotations
Right.
to tell us about what's going on.
Right, and then they even gave us a little bit of an AAR. They gave us a little bit of whatever. So that's what it's all about. So I think because I think Chelsea said it earlier too. It was like idle hands and idle minds. I think because we're not doing anything now, people are really just like digging in and picking pepper out of fly shit when it really isn't supposed to be.
And you and I were in the Army before 9/11 and after 9/11. We know what is coming for the Army.
Oh my
when
God,
it turns
I know.
into the garrison Army.
Oh
again.
my God, you ain't lying.
And I feel sorry for this generation of soldiers because I was the young soldier, specialist and below before 9/11, and I remember what was then considered normal is about to be our normal again. And it'll be just like this. You'll have like all of the reporters and, everywhere that, have been writing about the military for the last 10, 20 years. They're looking for things to write about. So like what happened at NTC saying, oh, they got their asses handed to them. That has happened at every NTC rotation. Just they had other things to talk about. Now they don't.
Right, exactly. Well, yeah, because most of the media was either going to Afghanistan or embedded in Iraq or something like that. Yeah, now
they weren't covering what we were doing here, stateside training.
Right. Ginger got a good point. So there's pre 9/11, post 9/11, and now there's pre-COVID and post-COVID.
Yes.
Because now we're seeing
the before times,
before the dark times, before the empire. But yeah, exactly that, and it's in reset mode. Yeah, that's a good point too. Exactly that, Daniel. Exactly that, JT. That's a good point because what's going to happen is that, man, it's going to suck too. After Desert Storm.
Yes.
There's going to be, and even during Afghanistan, there's going to be some pain with individuals getting out, and the Army's going to hand out walking papers. The Army's going to say, okay, you could have the most stellar paper on the planet, and you could have cured whatever, you could have solved the ACFT problem in the Army, and you would still be. You know what I mean? You'd still be processed out. You'd be like, oh, got your paper. For officers, it was like the RIF and the OSB. And then for us, NCOs, it was just a QMP or whatever.
Yeah, or even the offering the early retirement.
Or early retirement, right.
Yeah, they'll come about all that stuff. I was still in high school during Desert Storm, but that's when my dad wound up retiring. And he retired a little earlier. He did have over 20 years. But yeah, he wound up retiring with the drawdown after Desert Storm. Just like he knew he wasn't going to get promoted anymore because of the drawdown and stuff. So that's like right when he got out in 1991, actually. It's going to happen again.
Desmond says that the ACFT will never be fixed.
I agree with you, Desmond. I've been saying that since they first talked about it. They're not going to figure this out, like maybe in my lifetime.
I think it's probably going to happen.
Change 5,
yeah,
17,
I think what's going to happen. Yeah, I think what's going to happen is they're going to fade it out, or change it finally and say, hey, look, whatever. But
I'm sure they'll figure something out. But I was Sergeant Spanky, like, the E5 type that went to a Commander's Total Fitness course. And all of these exercises and everything they're doing with the ACFT, they kept saying, we're going to change PT test, we're going to change the PT test. And that was in 2001.
Right.
So.
Right. No, I remember that. I remember too. They were also having that. There's going to be a change of. There's going to be a change of the height and weight. We're going to have a new height and weight. Remember that hype? Remember that drama? Everyone's like, oh, we're going to have a new height and weight. We're going to have a new PT test. You better watch out. And then blah blah. That what happened to the. Now we talked about this before about the ABCP. That thing is the Army Body Composition Program. That is so freaking outdated, man. That is. Go ahead.
They want people to be strong and not weigh anything.
Well,
it doesn't work that way.
Right, exactly. Well, my biggest thing is that they're also not looking at how they're measuring people. Like I think you sent me that TikTok. There was a TikTok of fit women soldiers, okay?
Yeah.
And they were fit. I mean, they were like really fit. And it says, and they even said, doesn't make tape, doesn't make tape, doesn't make tape. And then there was this dude with a big gut, and it says make tape. That was one. I think you showed me that. I think you sent me that one.
And that's how it works. It's like if that guy with the big gut has a big ass neck, he's gonna make tape.
Right.
You know,
right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. That's the thing too. I can't. I don't have the liberty of having a big. I mean, if I go ahead and get tape, and if I was, I can't. I have to continuously exercise. I have to. You know what I mean? My body composition build up is not like that at all. Desmond says roids fix all. That's a good point. You know how many people take probably some minor and do people take some meds? It's probably going to be controversial about me saying this, but people take meds for whatever. Why don't you just give them roids, like you said, roids? See what happens. See what happens if you Anobol, HGH. But okay, stop.
If you start giving it to females, we're going to get even more muscle
I'm about to
even
say
heavier.
Right.
And then we're going to fail tape because guess what? You're not getting a fat neck.
Right.
You're deadlifting, your butt's getting
get
bigger.
Swole. Exactly. Get swole.
Bigger.
Protein. Size is the prize. I think the problem is that when we have a weight, and when we have a measuring system and we said this before, we have a system where we're freaking, I mean, this is not sexist. This is just like legit. I mean, you told me this too. It's like we're gonna measure women's asses and then make them do exercises that could probably build up their asses.
Right.
And we're gonna measure it.
That's what deadlifts do.
And well, for some people it does. Some people it does. Right. But exactly. But the percentage of it is that you're gonna get your butt's gonna get bigger. Dudes. Been in for 15 years, past height and weight, and the ACFT. Well, cool, Sarah. That's what I'm talking about. But do you think that's a good question, Sarah? Do you think that the ABCP needs to be changed? I know people, and you see this in this battle space that you're talking about, Sarah. Though, what could end up happening is that if you were to put that on Twitter and you were to tweet it out and say, "Hey, look, I don't give a shit. It's good with ACFT and ABPC," people would just dogpile on you. People go nuts. So I was just curious. Do you feel that it's good to go? That it's like a legit. It's okay the way it is. No, and you don't think it is. Okay, had a baby in March and passed it in September. So, and I will say this: I think the Army is getting better with their. I'm not saying they've cracked the code on paternity or postpartum PT.
And and she said she had the baby in March and passed it in September. That's 6 months. Now 6 months is doable for most women. It really is, but not all women. Like if you have a normal, healthy pregnancy and nothing's wrong, and you're able to exercise during your pregnancy and everything, 6 months is realistic. But that's just but that's not the case for all women. And I don't think it should be I think it used to only have 4 months to make weight again or something like that, and they bumped it to 6. I really do think it should be more of a case by case basis between the soldier and their doctor, whether it's 6 months, 9 months, whatever. If you have twins and a C-section, it's going to take you longer to get back into shape than it is, when I had my child. It only took me about 4 months to get back into shape and being able to pass a PT test and everything. But I had a normal pregnancy and didn't have a C-section and nothing like that. And I was able to exercise up until about 2 weeks before I had her. So, yeah, it just, like I said, all women are different when it comes to that.
Right.
So.
Right. Hang on. I'm going to send a comment in here where there was as many butt kissers as we have in the Army. I say measure butts for males and females and watch the butt kissers come around that corner with a. That's a good point. If dudes were taped the way women were and they failed the height and weight, the body fat composition, they change it. They change it.
Oh yeah. Well, see, okay. I don't know how to say this, but just say all the old heads in the Army that are so used to, if you can run fast, you are a good soldier. All right? That's who these height and weight standards are made for. The runners, the long distance runners. Okay, so they want to get away from just being able to run super fast, and now you want us to lift all this weight and throw some balls and all this other stuff, right? All right, so now we need to be stronger. All right, but they couldn't get away from the run completely. They had to throw that back in there because, like I said, old heads in the Army, you cannot change their minds or get them to spell correctly. Those are the two things they can't do: change their mind and spell correctly. But anyway, I digress. It's been a long time since I picked on them.
Yeah, you're picking on SGMs again. What's up with that, man?
They need it. They need it. But like I said, those that are the runners, they can't see past this. I do think that it will keep changing as these sergeant majors and very senior leaders that like to run get out and they retire. That's why it's trying to change now. I don't know. I'm not saying Sergeant Major Army Grinston can't run, but he does not look like your typical like twig thin.
Oh, he's a beast.
Person.
He's a beast. He can do PT.
Right, I'm sure he can do PT.
He can do PT.
But like I said, it's not. He does not fit that. I weigh 160 pounds and I'm 5'10", man that can, that runs 4-minute miles and thinks everybody should be able to do that.
No, I hear you. Well, so, and I think it was, and I got on the Twitterers today and said that what would be wrong with just making block times for ACFTs whenever it decides to get finished or get settled, and height and weights for testing, and then in soft units, October and April are usually the windows are where most soft units use, and it works. And I'm just curious to why the Army hasn't developed like I know the Marine Corps has a specific time, from what somebody was telling me, I guess, to do their fit reps or there's a time they all have to do it, and then they would work good for PT. Here's the reason why everyone's like, well, what happens if you missed somebody who didn't do our onesies or twosies or something like that?
So
yeah, no, I mean, if you think about it, if you do the PT test in October, it's the beginning of the new fiscal year. Mm-hmm. It's beginning of all the admin stuff. You know what I mean? Normally, commanders will come in during that time as well. New commanders or new senior NCO, new first sergeants or CSMs, and they could see the progress or whatever. And then you have that until the next quarter in April, where you could see, October, November, December would be the end of the first quarter, and then January, February, March, second quarter. So beginning of third quarter, you'd have pretty much a middle of the command. It benefits command. It actually gives a command a time to see, okay, if this unit's been doing PT. And all the onesies and twosies, we're not even supposed to be doing PT tests for anyways.
Right.
We're not even supposed to be doing an APFT or ACFT for anything at the moment. So right now, we should have had a crap load of people going to school because of, the Rona. I mean, you should have had if you're good to go, don't have the COOF, and the ACFT is not freaking on record yet. We should have had a lot of people going to schools. We should have had a lot of people just, going to schools, and not having to worry about the freaking, you got to do a PT test 30 days prior. Why?
Right. That is what I've always been, especially because I've spent a lot of time at S3. I am tired of giving a PT test every week because somebody wants one. It's like, and if you as commanders, if you have a good program and your NCOs are implementing that program, there is no reason that you should have to do this more than twice a year. APFT, ACFT, whatever, and height and weight. If someone is able to get bust tape fat or failing physical fitness standards in 6 months, something is wrong with that soldier. All right, or something is wrong with your program. Something is either wrong with them, like they were injured, had pregnancy obviously is an issue,
right.
Depression. You need to start looking at all these other things. Like, how did you go from a 300 in April to a 180 in October? Like, something's wrong. Something's wrong with your program.
Not to mention the fact that, and this is just me, maybe it's because I got comfortable, being in an environment where you were trusted when it came to doing PT and you had to do PT. I don't think organized PT should happen. I think that should be, as one of the old army, old school, open bay barracks, organized unit PT. Now it's okay to have like
Yes.
a unit run once in a while, or the first sergeant go around and said, hey, you know, because that's what I did. Hey, we're all doing PT. We're gonna go here. We're gonna go there. And they kind of knew my my NCOs knew how I was particular. I didn't like running. So I was like, hey, what are you doing for PT? Oh, we're going to go run here. All right, I'm not doing PT with you. What are you doing for PT? We're going to go do some sleds, ropes, and then we're going to do some, it's similar to the exercises like the ACFT. We're going to go do some kettlebells and stuff. I'm like, okay, yeah, let me go do that because I don't mind lifting. And then doing a short run and doing all that stuff. Hey, what are you going to do? Hey, we're going to do a kit run, blah, blah, blah. And then I would just watch. I mean, I don't get me wrong. And I would just be there just as a Joe. I would not be there saying, you know, you better stretch. I'm just there doing shit. And then the only thing I would make sure is like if it was something that was dangerous, and I wouldn't do it in front of the NCO, is I would, okay, making my mental note. All right, he didn't have a medic. He might need a medic, especially for my old ass. Because what if I slip on the obstacle course or you know what I mean, or something like that.
Right.
Maybe he needs a, you know, maybe he needs
Or
to
just
have.
even like, okay, so it's showing you that, oh, they need a little more, you know, training and risk management. Like, okay,
Yeah,
it's
too.
cool to do this kind of shit
Yeah.
for PT, but
Right. And normally I do that. I don't do that like right then and there. I just go through the session. Obviously, if we're not walking on the fucking airfield or we're not walking somewhere that's going to be dangerous or someone's really, and you know, they have the mentality, everybody's a safety officer. So I don't really see anybody who's really, but what I will do is that afterwards, hey, what's going on? Hey, great PT. Hey, I'm smoked, blah, 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 blah. Hey, just make sure next time, blah, 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 blah. And no harm, no foul. It's not a big deal, you know? And that's it. I think, I mean, I don't want to, it's going to explode everything when I say this, but I don't even think we should have freaking formations. I mean, don't get me wrong. We can have some accountability formations, like an accountability check, but in the mornings for PT. But PT shouldn't be an hour event, and then you have Big Sarge out there speaking in front of a formation for 15, 20 minutes, and that blows
Right.
20 minutes of PT. PT should be 6:30 to 8:30. That's it, or 6:30 or 8 o'clock. I'm sorry. It should be at least 2 hours. I mean, I've been, unless there's a QTB or training meeting or command and staff. I mean, sometimes I'd be in PTs up until lunch because I would, you know, work out for a good 2 hours and then that's it. I mean, we just, I don't know. It just felt weird. And of course, when I say this, well, how are you going to make sure they're doing PT? That's why you got sergeants for.
I mean,
Don't you got sergeants? Do you have
don't we
sergeants?
pay them for something?
Don't we pay
No,
sergeants for
those first
sergeant
line
and stuff?
leaders?
Yeah. Do we have sergeants to do sergeant stuff? I mean, that's. I don't know. It should be exactly that, JT. It should be 2 hours like the range. Well, most of USASOC does PT for about 2 hours. Again, unless there's like a unit run or you're doing a PT event for a fallen warrior or something like that, then yeah, you normally do that and you do it with them, and that's when it's sort of kind of quasi organized, but it's not. Roll in, receive the report, you know, take report of law, and then.
Now we're having a meeting.
Yeah, exactly that. We're supposed to be, you know, whatever. And
You got all this stuff to put out. Like, that could have all been in an email.
it could all been, or we do it for. I mean,
or the same thing you just put out yesterday when you were trying to let us go home.
yeah, exactly. Waiting
Like,
for the
it's been 12 hours, dude.
waiting
Shut up.
for the word,
Didn't
waiting for the
forget.
word. Yeah. Hey, first sergeant, can we leave? Oh, I'm waiting for the word. Nah, no. I had pretty proactive NCOs, senior NCOs that would, when I was a first sergeant, and they would be like, "Hey, first sergeant, yep, this is this, Mike Coat. You got anything for me?" Nope. All right, cool. All right, see you tomorrow. I didn't care what. I'm probably telling myself to my some of my senior leaders, but I didn't care. Or I would say, hey, look, I'd go up to the battalion. And I'm like, hey, I let my kids go. They're gonna go do this, and this. And I'm like, oh, and you know, I had pretty good senior leaders that would be like, okay, cool, not a big deal. So I don't get it, man. I don't. I think the culture of that adds to it. I guarantee it. If you were looking at some stats of soldiers or units that do PT on their own as opposed to organized PT, I'm willing to bet you the PT the freaking organized PT would have a lower score than people who do it on their own.
Probably. And even like, okay, you don't have to like just do all or nothing. You could go down to like 3 days a week try that first. See how it works.
Sarah's
And
got a
maybe
good point.
once a week.
Exactly. Sarah's got a good point. She's National Guard, so she's asking a legit question. How can active duty bitch about meeting height, weight, and PT when you get paid full time to do this? I'm gonna tell you what, Sarah. There are some variables in there called Big Sarge. Big Sarge will kind of mess things up.
We talk about Big Sarge all the
We
time.
talk Big Sarge will ruin everything, like we just talked about. Units also don't take seriously the culture of physical fitness when it comes to doing like a layout. You got to do a layout. You were
Right.
hey, we need to go down the motor pool. Why are you going to the motor pool for? It's during PT. We can do it under PT. Well, no.
Need to find that Allen wrench.
I got to find. The XO wants to look for. Yeah, the XO wants to see that BII laid out. Man, I tried as much as I could to protect PT. Every unit should be protecting PT at any, because like Sarah's right. Active duty, this is our jobs. I mean, there's people who bitch about that anyway, Sarah, that will complain about how I got a soldier. You should be saying that stuff. You don't be talking mean stuff about doing PT or your fat.
Back when Hood was a great place, back then, they protected PT. Like, you had to have the first general in your chain of command approve you doing something other than PT, and the 3 Corps commander and sergeant major were out there every day, and they were checking. So they were running up and down battalion and the motor pool roads. You better not be in the motor pool, and they didn't know about it.
Right, exactly.
Why are you in the motor pool? It's PT time. So yeah,
exactly.
There was time, and I did not mind it, because I honestly, unless I was injured, I would be pissed if I didn't get to run in the morning. It just would put me in a bad mood for the rest of the day. Right,
yeah. I mean, I'll be honest with you. Physical fitness is also mental health care too. It's also behavioral health. It also assists in your behavioral health to stress out. To exactly that, Liam. COVID messed up PT in more ways than one, though. It enabled leaders to be helicopter parents, man. I mean, we used to see in the inbox about, we post texts all the time of leaders posting their stuff, saying that they need to, you better Zoom at 6:30 in the morning.
Right, everybody get on Zoom.
Everybody get on Zoom. You better.
Now, with that being said, there was probably some first line leaders out there that really did need to be checking on their soldiers like that, especially if they got new privates to the unit, stuff like that. They don't know that soldier well enough yet to know that, okay, they're going to be able to take care of themselves. I don't think that should have been the kind of thing that had came down from like a company commander. Like, let's say if Sergeant so-and-so wants to see his private, and he wants to FaceTime, make sure he's actually doing something, that private may not even know how to work out by himself yet.
That's true.
So
no, you're right.
That would have been cool.
Yeah.
Not like, oh, we need a whole company on Zoom.
No, you're right. No, somebody talked to me about that too, saying, responding to my tweet, saying that there's, it became a trust issue with Joe's because individuals started getting fat. There was Joe, because you got Big Sarge, and then you got Carl.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and then they fuck it up for everybody.
And Carl, you're right. Carl messes it up for everyone. Not only did Carl messes it up, but then when you tell Carl that he's fat, then Carl gets on social media and shit talks and cries. And then the next thing you know, we're not thinking about people first and all that stuff, when it was Carl that had some sort of, had level of, I don't know, you're supposed to have some sort of self-accountability, it's a little bit of a initiative there. Yeah, exactly that. Desmond said I had some best PT during COVID. Yeah, same here. I even took baby ass with me running around. I was showing pictures of Spanky. He was running 2.5, 3 miles with me, and he'd do PT, my little guy, he'd hang out. And so it's just one of those things to where kind of like, man, there was a balance. And I'll be honest with you. I mean, come on, let's be honest with you. That whole freaking COVID mitigation crap that the units did was a recipe for disaster anyways. I mean, it was not there were units you could see weren't units told on themselves.
Like with the shower curtains and stuff. Like.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, they may have been out at the same time helicopter parents. They hover the BS and let pass the real stuff. Exactly. I didn't. We would get. I remember when we first started getting. We started getting coof mitigation pictures, and they were supposed to have been first sergeants and company commanders, and they were A because we weren't supposed to be doing PT tests at the time when it was an APFT, and then it went to the ACFT, and then you were watching people with freaking ponchos. Trying to do some social distancing, trying to sneak by some PT tests and stuff because some of their NCOs didn't like the fact that their PT scores were low during COVID. So warrant officers were socially distancing before it was cool. That's right, Dante. You know what? That's a good point. They still are. Warrants. I don't know what to say, man. Warrants have been social distancing before it was cool.
I mean, I see them show up every now and then. Oh, it's time for take a PT test. Okay, I'll meet you there at 6:30.
I'll meet you. Yeah. What time we're supposed to be doing a PT test? We're going to meet at the gym. Gym. Chief,
who's Jim?
Chief, yeah, who's Chief? Where you at? You're sending a text message. Chief, where the hell are you at? My gym's in my garage. You know, they almost like it's like, you know, Warrants were pretty good on wordplay. Gym, I have a gym in my garage, and I hear you could, and then would play. They take advantage of the Zoom. Here, you want to watch me do push-ups and sit-ups on Zoom? And I'm like, dude, you can't do that.
It's okay. I'll get my kid to hold my feet. It's good. It's
yeah,
good.
Exactly. Yeah, no. Matter of fact, Paul, I don't think the FM says that it has to be a service member holding your feet. It could be your children. Hey, we've been blabbing for an hour and we didn't realize the time.
I know.
So we're gonna take a break right quick, and like I said, we'll be right back shooting the breeze. Catching Spanky up. She's gonna let her know what's going on, and y'all can talk. So everybody, go to the potty and go take a drink and shouts. Shouts.
WTF Nation Radio. WTF Nation Radio.
Take it from me, Ice. You can't just float around space not caring about stuff forever.
The voice of U.S. Army. WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Shit in the bag, Pogue.
Nothing feels the same. Let it all be sirens are going off. Another rocket attack. I've got my boots and got my ammo in my 50-pound sack. Boys headed to war in this world unknown. The only peace of mind I've got are these letters from home. Another day attack. I've tried to talk and tell you about it, but it ain't the same. All these thoughts that run through my head, well, they can't be tamed. Another day has come and gone. Another night I'm all alone. I didn't think I'd be this far out here in Kandahar. Another day has come and gone. Another night I'm all alone. I didn't think I'd be this far out here. We ain't far from Kandahar.
Wear a condom? We're in Fayetteville. No one gets STDs here.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
I am here determined to stop this future atrocity.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe. I suggest we use it.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
I find your lack of faith disturbing. Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
please enjoy the show. Shots.
And we're back on this 4 November 2021, broadcasting live from the Functional Veteran Center of Excellence. This is Sergeant's Time. My host was Spanky. Welcome back. That's so cool to have you back, man. That's awesome.
I know. I've missed y'all.
I missed you too. Man. Anyways, so what were we talking about now? Oh, everyone's talking about Big Sarge and all that stuff. Yeah, exactly, man. Did you see the investigation stuff about into the drone strike? There was no negligence and no fault. And what kind of road doesn't have PID shoddy? You know what I'm saying, dude? That's a good point. I think if you attack,
I must have missed all of that. You know, I have missed some things.
Yeah. So during the evacuation of Afghanistan, where, well, as a matter of fact, I'm wearing in his honor TPT 9000 Staff Sergeant Ryan Knauss, his shirt in honor of him. He was killed. Bravo Company Night Side Battalion, and some Marines were killed by a suicide bomber. Well, in retaliation to say to get payback or revenge, we retaliated with an airstrike, and that airstrike killed the wrong people. So exactly that. That's a good point, man. That is a good point. How could you find no findings, or how could you say there was no negligence when, or no fault when it was the wrong target? So I'm blown away. Usually, when you hit the wrong target, that means that there were some failures involved. There was some.
I mean, some kind of failure at least.
Yeah, you know. I don't know. Positive ID.
I mean, maybe the no negligence, like it wasn't done on purpose, or anything like that. But someone still fucked up.
Well, really, really big man shirt bust Dave. How America is it that a New Jersey trucker spends only $153 and beats the 7-year Senate? Yeah, exactly. Incumbent in New Jersey. That was awesome.
That is
awesome.
Story.
That is an awesome story.
I love that story.
We're going to talk about that on Monday for the Monday edition, but that is a hilarious story. A lot of things happened that time too, because we're going to talk about that. They must have used the old Army cookbook. Yeah, I'll be honest with you. There was better UAV imagery from the riots in Kenosha with Kyle Rittenhouse. Did you see the UAV, the drone footage that they had?
No, I did not.
Oh, they had some holy crap. I'm watching the trial, and they had some legit freaking ISR. They had some legit intel, and I'm just thinking, damn, these guys are overhead viewing. That just goes to show when you're rioting or you're doing shit like that the feds, they're gonna catch you. So, anyways, my point being is that there was better ISR. There was better ISR assets during a riot than it was in Afghanistan. Somebody says CIA. Ooh, I don't want to say that. I want my CIA.
We don't say those we don't say those alphabets.
I don't want my alphabet friends like, hey, Ken, you need to go ahead and just delete that. That podcast that you did on Thursday? Yeah, delete it. I'm waiting for my FBI agent to laugh at me. I'm looking at my text message.
You did another alphabet.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm waiting for the people that are snooping on me or saying that we're this and this and this.
I think we all have our own alphabet person that keeps watch on us.
Well, yeah, exactly. They have our own. We do. I mean, sometimes, I will drop a meme, and the next thing you know, I'll see a text message from an unknown number that says, ha, ha, ha. No.
Yeah, I think
some
my
dank
name
memes.
is Fred. I've just named him Fred.
Fred the Fed.
Fred the Fed.
Fred the Fed.
That's it. From now on, it's Fred the Fed.
See, yeah.
Us.
So I have Fred the Fed, and I have Glower. Who's the other one I have? Facebook investigations. Exactly, man. Exactly. Yeah, Facebook investigations were more thorough than the airstrike. You get freaking your memes freaking zucked You get zucked better. You get better security. Did you? Oh, speaking of Facebook, I mean, totally off topic and off the military. Did you know that the props today is a CID? Exactly.
Everybody has their alphabet.
Everyone's got their alphabet, man. Everyone's got their fave. Glower and Fred the Fed. Facebook dropped their facial recognition stuff.
I saw that.
So everybody who was
I'm
doing
sure
that,
they're not getting rid of all their data, though.
oh yeah, I was about to say they're not called Facebook anymore. They're called Meta. Meta.
Yeah, okay.
They're doing Meta.
They're not. I'm not calling them that.
They're calling Meta. Yeah, the Book of Faces. Yeah. So supposedly. Anyway, so Fred the Fed, check this out. So did you have? I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that because the next thing you know, I'll be like, get a knock on my door. You're saying you're Fred, making fun of the feds. My alphabet friend's gonna.
Fred's gonna knock on your door.
Fred's gonna knock on
Making fun of me.
Watch out for the Blue Man Group. Exactly. I saw the Blue Man Group in Vegas. They're awesome. I wanted to go home. I wanted to go to Home Depot and grab some PVC pipe and start going boom, 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 you know, start doing all that shit. That was fucking awesome. I digress. Anyways, you're right. Everyone's through testimony and all that. Everyone was saying that. Yeah, well, you know, sorry about that. It's you know, always. I'm sorry. If the airstrike happened, what are you gonna do? You know, meanwhile,
I mean, just at least try to, you know, figure out what went wrong so it doesn't happen again. I mean, that's not asking too much, is it?
Yeah, I don't.
Come on, alphabets.
I don't know, man. I'm just kind of thinking that, you know, something that's launching a weapon like that, you know, you're launching death and destruction. You know, you would think, but then again, how many drone strikes have we used before where it's killed innocent people too? So, but yeah, I saw that, man. What's up, Ringo? I saw that shit. And I was like, damn, dude. No accountability. It was an accident. Oh well. But there were some alphabet people going, you will, or they had like a Men in Black thing. Went, you know, the lobotomizer where you forget everything and stuff like that. So
I need one of those.
Yeah.
Someone, hey, alphabet. Hey, Fred, come, you know, do that lobotomizing.
Yeah, exactly.
Let me forget some shit.
Shout out to all the fans that we have had. I know the social media team. We have some members of the social media team in the chats too. They've been killing it and communicating with fans all the way out to Taiwan. You know the country of Taiwan. The country of Taiwan. You know the country of Taiwan, right?
Yeah, I've heard of them.
Yeah, the country of Taiwan.
I've heard of that place.
Yeah, and also West Taiwan. Other people call it China. But anyways, am I gonna get stuck for that? Am I gonna have some glowers call me up? Hey, you can't say that. But anyways. Shout out to the fans out there, Taiwan, out to the Ukraine as well. Shout out to the fans in Ukraine. Shout out to the fans.
And don't forget Paul from Nepal.
Paul from Nepal. I see some pings out there too. I know he must be spreading the gospel, the WTF Nation gospel. Shout out to, I guess Ivan's listening too. I pulled some pings. I'm like, oh crap. So thanks, thank you for listening. Thanks for showing up. Exactly. Out in Australia as well, out across the pond with our limey cousins. Can you call them limeys? I mean, it's like a term of endearment, right? Or you say limey?
I mean, yeah. They I forgot what they called us.
They didn't call us Yankees. They called us, what do they call us? They called us something else.
I can't remember.
Yeah,
I even lived there for a few years.
Yeah. So shout out to the listeners out there. Shout out to Canada and the U.S. Shout out to them. The forces out there, and NORAD and Cheyenne Mountain. I see, man. We get a lot of fans out there. That's awesome. So really appreciate you guys listening and spreading the word of the WTF Nation and U.S. Army WTF moments. What do we got going on this week? Do we have? Oh, speaking of which, Veterans Day is coming up. Some units are going to have 4-day weekends. Other units are going to have they're going to have, you know, have not celebrations and stuff like that, but they're going to have memorial times and all that stuff. Make sure, you know, speaking of Veterans Day, before I get to the more serious part, do you think it's overdone when people say, "Hey, I'm going to go get my veteran discount"? Do you think it's like a?
Okay, I personally don't do it just because of where I live. Everything is way too crowded. That's why I don't. I have no problem with people going out and getting their free meal and stuff. Just tip your waitresses, you know, just tip them. Like I said, they're not making any money if you don't tip them. Get your free meal, tip your waitress, go on about your day, go to the next restaurant, do whatever. Enjoy it. The companies wouldn't do it if they didn't want to.
Right.
So go out and enjoy it. I am not about all them crowds. So
you,
I'm going to get my free car wash like I go to get every year.
Right.
And call it a day.
See, seeing everyone's like, this is extra cringe or something like that. I just wish those individuals would kind of knock it off.
Right. Nobody's making you do anything.
Nobody's making you do anything. If a company or hey, veterans, I'm gonna guarantee it right now. I'm going to go to freaking, I think breakfast. I'm probably gonna have brunch free and then get some tacos free for dinner, and then that's it. There's only two. There's a lot of things. I don't know. It's just something that I'm not expected of. I just, like you were saying, if you do your thing, you do your thing. But there's people who like to ruin other people's fun. Like I can totally tell who are the fun ruiners. Who the party poopers are, or who the fun police is. But yeah, exactly that. I hate being that. Tim says I hate being that guy. I like to promote others' service, but not my own. Yeah, it's kind of like a self-humbling thing. You just kind of don't. But then again, do you feel bad for doing it when you say, hey, I'm going to get some free chow? Well, if you're guessing.
Oh, no, I don't feel bad.
Right. There's something.
Like I said, I just don't, because everything's busy and
right.
I don't like crowds. I sure take my 10% off at Lowe's every time I go in there, though. I do their little thing. I'm getting my 10% off at Lowe's.
You would too. There's people out there that say, oh, it's so stupid. I wouldn't do that.
Well,
you do it.
You go ahead, and I got 10% more money in my pocket.
Oh, no, Spanky, they do it. They take that discount. They show up and, hey, is there a military discount? They do. You guys get some of them discounted, chicken nuggets or something like that, or, you do it too. But anyways.
Well, for instance, I took the girls shopping last weekend, and I forgot how many stores still do military discounts. And we were at the outlet malls in Round Rock, and she needed to go to the band store. And then I saw their little sign, ask about our military discount. I'm like, here you go, and got 10% off all of her shoes. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. Usually, do I forget? Unless it's at Lowe's, I never forget at Lowe's.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't usually ask, but if they got a sign or something, then it triggers my memory. All right, let me save. That saved me $30, so I'm like, yep, that's $30 extra in my pocket, and I'm fine with that.
Right. Yeah.
And I ain't mad for anybody that uses them.
Right. Exactly.
I do think people are dicks when they think that everybody should do it.
Right.
Yeah,
See, that's another thing too. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about too. But I'm also people who are dicks about other people wanting to do it. You know what I mean? If I'm going to get some, it's so stupid. You better not do that. You know what I mean? Just kind of like
mind your business. Worry about yourself.
Right.
That's
Exactly. Okay, so okay, that was my little this is my shave too. Yeah, was that my no? But yeah, I'm on. I shaved on Monday, so this is like the day. What 2.5? Well, yeah. So I shaved on Monday to begin No Shave November. So, but yeah, exactly. Home Depot too. Exactly. Home Depot, Lowe's, stuff like that. I can see that. Who doesn't do that?
Yeah, because usually when I'm going there, I am dropping a couple $100 on something.
Right. Right.
Because I don't go to Lowe's for fun.
Right. No, right, exactly. If I'm going to Lowe's, it's because I got some freaking stuff that I need to do for the house or something like that, or whatever.
I got to replace something. So, yeah.
Right. Yeah. Oh yeah, having baby ice running around. He'll step on a shelf or try to climb on something, and then the next I'm out of a refrigerator.
Yep.
So the reason why I say that is because for Veterans Day, U.S. Army WTF Moments and WTF Nation Radio, in conjunction with Scott Mann and Last Out, Ella Jiva Green Beret, we're going to show that movie again. And there's going to be from starting tonight all the way out until Thursday on Veterans Day. There's going to be some mini trailers. There's going to be some small. You'll see them this weekend. You'll see a one trailer about the character that Scott portrays and an Afghan national. And if you watch that, if you guys watched it last time it was released, it was a kick in the gut. There wasn't a dry eye. I mean, I saw it live. I was honored to attend a live screening with Gold Star family members, and Scott invited me out to go to one of their screenings, and I attended it. And it was there was no dry eye in the room. And then when we saw it live, I mean, I can't. That movie's emotional. So I would recommend. And the last time when we had it online, and we showed it on WTF Nation Radio and U.S. Army WTF Moments. There were crisis counselors within the chats, so if you needed to talk or something like that, there were some individuals there to help you, because there are going to be some triggering events in that movie, and so it's going to be again on Veterans Day next Thursday, but there's going to be some promos coming out on WTF Nation Radio and U.S. Army WTF Moments about a last out elegy of a Green Beret. It has been an honor being part of that project and helping them out and stuff like that. So, I mean, we even got a shout out in the credits. That was pretty awesome. So, yes. But don't forget, we have a show Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday now. So tomorrow we have Kicking It with Cause. I'm sure Cause is going to talk about with how to kick him with Cause. Friday Night Freedom. I'm sorry, I always say Kicking It with Cause. I keep forgetting.
Right.
It's because I missed it. It just flowed.
Kicking It with Cause and Pookie on Friday Night Freedom.
There you go. Kicking It with Cause and Pookie on Friday Night Freedom. So Friday Night Freedom is going to be tomorrow. Man, I'm sure with a lot of political stuff going on, I'm pretty sure Cause and Pooks are going to talk about some stuff.
Yes, I do not allow it on Sarge Time.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah, exactly. So they're going to talk about some stuffs. I'm going to listen in too, so that way maybe I can interject. Yeah, I got a Cause. Yeah, Friday Night Freedom. Cause is yelling at the clouds. You two old guys screaming. Yeah, I got it. But yeah, so we have Friday Night Freedom with Cause and Pookie, and then Monday, of course, is the Monday edition with myself and Mom. Flash is still on his stuff. Flash has been doing a lot of Army stuff, like Army stuff.
No, Flash is in Antarctica, is what I heard last.
Yeah, exactly. He's doing some serious. I mean, he keeps in touch, and we keep in touch with him, and he's doing some great stuff. So it's not like he's out goofing off. And then of course Tuesdays, CQ with Pop Culture Warrior with Radar, and then Wednesdays off, and then of course Sergeant's Time is today on Thursday. Again, all of our shows start at today was kind of like a hiccup with a little bit of some tech stuff, but we got it going. So 2000 Eastern Standard Time, that's 8 p.m. for those that don't that don't understand the 2400 hour clock or 24-hour clock. 2400.
That's a long day.
That's a long freaking day. Yeah, exactly that. Yeah, exactly. Cos is going to be talking about the COOF, Second Amendment stuff and other things. I can't wait. I always love hearing the discussions about the Second Amendment, because we are Second Amendment supporters at WTF Nation Radio. Sorry. Zachary is throwing his freaking Tories in there. Oh gosh,
man, that's as bad as the blue cords.
There we go. See, we went through a whole show just about with no freaking Rockathon crap, and here it is. Zachary just dropping a whole bunch of crimson Tories inside the freaking chats. Oh man,
I'm not even counting how many.
I can't even count.
More than one.
More than one. Yeah, exactly. Did you see that guy for Halloween who put a fake Tory in the back of his head? And everybody freaked out.
I did.
Everyone freaked out, thought it was a real Tory. Like, he carved it in the back of his. I'm like, no, it was.
Because that's how crazy those Rockathons are.
I was about to say, there's like a couple of cults there, right? There's a cult, the cult of Tories and the Marines and all that. And of course,
they're a cult.
Pay attention to all social media platforms that we have. For all shows, notifications, we're on 2 Facebook pages, U.S. Army WTF Moments and WTF Nation Radio. We're also on YouTube. We're also on Twitch. We're also... we're also on iHeartRadio. We're also, we got so many freaking platforms. All you got to do is go into the Googleizer and then type in WTF Nation Radio, and then the first, 30, 40 pages are all WTF Nation Radio stuff. If you want to download a podcast, just go ahead to Google Play or go ahead to Apple Podcasts, and you'll be able to download the latest. And usually after our show, usually between an hour or so, it'll be loaded up on the podcast stuff. Calendar's going to open up pretty soon. Then I think it's going to open in a week and a half, and we're going to have a lot of guests. We're going to have a lot of guests for Monday and Sergeant's Time rolling up. Military guests, political candidates, other podcasters are going to be joining us. We're going to have units. I already put the word out for a chaplain to come on, because I want to have a chaplain come out and shoot the breeze with us to discuss chaplain things. You hear that again? I do. I got freaking little birds. I got little birds and freaking Blackhawks flying over me.
It's Fred.
Yeah, it's Fred. It's Fred the Fed and the Glowers. That sounds like a band. It's Fred and the Glowers.
If I had any musical talent whatsoever, I'd start a band today, and that would be the
name. That would be it. It'd be Fred and the Glowers. Then they're like, yeah, man, you hear that stuff? They're flying around the pad. Anyways, so again, subscribe, share, follow. We're also broadcasting on the Twitter, so right now people are probably throwing some mean comments at me and all that. Don't care. I mean I do care, but it's always interesting to read some of the comments and all that stuff. Share, like, and follow there. Follow us at WTF Nation Radio on the Twitterage, and we got an Instagram too. So if you want to send us some stuff that has radio related, or ask, you're a band and you want us to play some of your music, to get out there. We've done that with the Bayou Bandits. We've done that with Sheltered Life. We've done that with Pegboard Nerds. Dude, we've had a lot of bands come over here and play their wares, and now they're pretty well known. And so, if you want to hit us up at contact@WTFNationRadio.com and say, I want my music to be played and blah blah. We're gonna listen to your music, and as long as you're not having animals coming up to my front door when I'm playing it, then I guess that means it's good. And then if you guys have any ideas for guests, of course, let us know. Or if you are an influencer or something like that and you want to hit us up, hey, I'd like to come on the show, but we'll talk about it. We'll kick it over. And of course, usually it depends on what it is and it meets the topic, then of course we'll respond back and say, yeah, come on over. Anyone ask about the temporary promotion memo? We have not, but it's basically going back the way it used to be. Back in the day when you couldn't get scheduled for an NCOPDS or NCOES, the way they called it. You just got promoted until you made it, until you got scheduled.
Yeah, it just goes back and forth, and forth.
It goes back and forth.
The way it is now, it'll change again.
Yeah, so yeah, but hurry up and do it now. So if you got promoted, you better hurry up and get to school, because I know back in the day, if you didn't after a certain period of time, check with your SWAN, and then or hit up Morgan at the WTF Nation J1, and then hit her up on Twitter, and she'll be able to answer that question too. But anyway.
Yes, and Morgan we trust. Everybody else show the reg.
Exactly. Everyone else, yeah, exactly. Everyone else show the reg or the source. But anyways, thank you guys for hanging out. We really appreciate you guys shooting the breeze with us. Good show tonight. And again, welcome back, Spanky.
Thank you, and thank you, everybody. I have missed y'all, and it is good to be back.
All right, guys. Y'all have a good one, and see ya. Shots.
Hey, this is SEAC retired John Wayne Troxel. You're listening to WTF Nation Radio, the station of choice for all of the badass MFers on the planet.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Intergalactic horse, and we'll ride into the sun, yes, into the sun, where we'll take the day by planting a flag right there at its source. Space Force. And now the They say that they've discovered life up there on Mars. So let's blow it all to hell and then claim it for ours. We'll paint the moon red, white, and blue for no other reason than we wanted to. Oh, Jupiter, imagine what you could become. A stupid, pointless planet turned into a giant gun. And Russia, so sorry, have to burst your bubble. Be a good sport now, sit back, relax, and watch us through the Hubble as we celebrate the greatness of the United Planet of America. Space Force, we'll saddle up our intergalactic horse and we'll ride into the sun, yes, into the sun, where we'll take the day by planting a flag right there at its source. Space Force. Now we'll go to infinity and beyond, beyond. You'll hear our manly voices singing Space Force strong. The critics say sound doesn't travel in space, to which we reply sound will do as we say. Oh, Captain Kirk, your achievements, though notable and fine, as far as we're concerned, this is Deep Space Mine. And big fans, but Lord Vader, step away from the lightsaber. There can only be one, of course. Space Force. Ra-da-da-da-da-da, ra-da-da, ra-da-da, ra-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-dum-dum-dum-dum, ra-da-da-da-da-da, ra-da-da, ra-da-da, ra-da-da-da-da-da-da-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum. Space Force, Space Force, we'll saddle up our intergalactic horse and we'll ride into the sun, yes, into the sun, where we'll take the day by planting a flag right there at its source. Space Force.
Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
please enjoy the show. Shots.